Hello, Durud and Shalom. Guys, a lot has happened. Let me know how my audio is. Make sure you like the stream. Congratulations. Congratulations. It happened. It finally happened. The nightmare of waiting for the hostages to come home is over. Really, this is a new chapter. Let's focus mostly. I have a lot to say about what comes after, but I want to keep the focus on the hostages and celebrating the hostages. We could talk about the situation that we're in right now and how we can make sure that this never ever happens again, and what my opinions are a little bit later. But right now, let's just focus on this amazing, amazing news that you all know, but we just want to celebrate this here together, as people who are on this channel. So watch this, guys. This is just so powerful. Watch all of this. So if you don't know what you're watching, these are the hostages seeing their family for the first time after 2 years. This is the reunion of the hostages with their families in Israel. A lot of these families could not imagine, like many of them didn't know if they're going to see this day. So just watch this.
נכון, אתה מאושרת, זה המשפט של הסרט שלך. הכי מאושרת. הכי מוזהו נגמר.
שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ברוך אתה, אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. עצם חיים שלי, האור שלי, הלב שלי, הלב שלי, הלב שלי. די, זה מאחוריין. נשמות שלי, אוי, שנתיים, יום יום. חיים שלי, כפרון עליך, הלב שלי, חזור לי החיים, חזור לי החיים. תודה לשם שיחזיר אותך חיים. תודה. תודה.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. תראו איזה גבר, תראו. רועי התחיל את
אני בסדר, מה את בוחר? אני הכל טוב.
נועם, בוא. חיים שלי, אתה אלוף גיבור, כפרה עליך אני, כמה החיות שלך מחכות.
You know what makes me sad is the families of the people who the hostages that didn't come home and died. Imagine what they're going through, seeing these other families celebrating their loved ones coming back. Imagine them at this moment that everybody's celebrating the hostages coming back. Imagine what they're thinking because their loved one didn't make it back. Everybody's
לראות אותך ואילנה, חיים שלי ונוני, כל העולם חיים שלי, בטח, החזירו לי אותו אחרי 4 ימים, אתה לא מבין, טונטון, אתה לא מבין, חיים של אמא. כפר עליך, כפר עליך, זה החיים שלי, אתה רוצה לשתות, כפר עליך, בוא כפר עליך, בוא כפר עליך, בוא חיים שלי, אתה בוא כפר עליך, מה זה? לא כפרה, לא צריכה.
Right, they're showing the pictures now. Oh, so I think this is them watching it on video, watching it when it happened. You know, imagine not knowing until the very last minute if it's going to happen or not. Like you think that it's going to happen and you can't be sure 100%, and they're just waiting for they're hoping, but they're watching it for it to actually, because you never know what it could happen until the last minute. Yeah, so this is what they're watching. They're watching them step out of the car. So guys, can somebody explain to me, if I understand this correctly or not, Israelis in the chat, why are there no women from the 20 remaining hostages? Why is it only men? Was it because the women were released earlier? Oh yeah, but they were released earlier. Oh, this is iconic. Look at this picture. So one of the videos that was missing that I wanted to share because it was on, I saw it, they didn't include this one. Watch this one. Hold on, watch this. Look, it's like look at them. They're like, it's actually happening. It's actually happening. Look at this. I don't even know how that feels. I don't know how that feels. Okay, so let's go look at some of the coverage on this topic.
Israelis began gathering in Tel Aviv's Hostages Square. For 2 years and 1 week, the families and friends of those kidnapped on October 7th have gathered here to keep their loved ones at the forefront of minds. Under the terms of the deal, the final 20 living hostages of the 250 kidnapped by Hamas will be released. The remains of 28 others who haven't survived will also be returned. In exchange, Israel will release 250 Palestinian prisoners and more than 1,700 detainees. At 8 a.m. local time, the exchange began. An initial group of 7 Israeli hostages were handed over to the Red Cross near Khan Yunis. A condition of this deal being Hamas didn't engage in the kind of pageantry it displayed on previous releases. On the other side of the border, close family gathered at an Israeli military base to receive them. IDF helicopters were on standby to fly those requiring urgent medical treatment to hospital. After 738 days of waiting, finally contact via video calls. Then the moment when they were finally able to hold their loved ones again, prompting huge cheers from the crowds in Tel Aviv. Meanwhile,
I still think it's so unfair that Netanyahu is not getting any thank yous or any credit. This was made possible because of Netanyahu's and the IDF is getting credit justifiably, but none of this would have been possible unless Hamas wasn't humiliated and humbled to this
Tel
point.
Aviv.
By the way, maybe tomorrow we're going to cover Trump's speech at the Knesset, maybe, because that was very strange. So we need to cover, because Trump just came to Israel and he had a speech, so we need to cover that.
Meanwhile, the man many Israelis credit with making this all possible, flying in on Air Force One. President Trump is being greeted with a hero's welcome here, his image being adorned from billboards and posters. Waiting for him on the tarmac, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, now deeply unpopular in Israel, blamed for security failings allowing Hamas's attack and for prolonging this war unnecessarily for his own political interests at the expense of the hostages. Trump's exasperation.
Prolonging the war. Hamas was not going to give up the hostages until they were weakened to the point where they're desperate for their survival. Why don't you understand that? Hamas looks at negotiations as a way to buy time to recover so they could do another October 7th. This
with and pressure on Netanyahu is seen as the reason this deal has finally been done. Publicly, though, the pair greeted each other warmly before riding in the president's motorcade to Jerusalem for Trump to address Israel's parliament.
Guys, I haven't watched the full speech, but I heard that Trump took some shots at Netanyahu. He basically he insulted him in a couple of ways at the Knesset. Let me know if that is correct or not. Some people told me. I don't know if they're being is that a fair representation or not, but let me know what you guys because we're going to cover that tomorrow.
Knesset and to meet some of the hostages' families. Just before 10 a.m., Red Cross vehicles collected the 13 remaining hostages from Gaza City. An hour later, and the first buses carrying Palestinian prisoners began arriving in Ramallah, the de facto Palestinian capital of the occupied West Bank. Friends and relatives are uncertain who will actually be coming off these buses, with Israel removing and updating names on the list over the weekend. There was
wait, these are the terrorists being released back into Gaza? Is that what that is?
Weeping and screams of joy for those reunited. Many of those freed were serving life sentences after being convicted by Israeli courts of crimes including murder. Some looked gaunt and even injured, raising concerns about the conditions they've experienced in Israeli prisons.
What the hell? What? This is Channel 4 News? They're both citing it. They're acting like this is a hostage exchange rather than releasing of hostages in return of having your terrorists back.
In Jerusalem, Trump was greeted with rapturous applause before becoming only the 4th US president to address the Knesset since it was created in 1949.
And after so many years of unceasing war and endless danger, Today, the skies are calm, the guns are silent, the sirens are still, and the sun rises on a holy land that is finally at peace, a land and a region that will live, God willing, in peace for all eternity.
Trump is being awarded this country's highest civilian award, the Israeli Presidential Medal of Honor. Prime Minister Netanyahu, facing elections next year, is keen to try and share in the glory.
Mr. President, you are committed to this peace. I am committed to this peace. And together, Mr. President, we will achieve this peace.
You know what I feel is happening? This is basically Trump winning over Netanyahu after the 12-day war, because during the 12-day war, Trump was getting jealous. I think he was getting jealous over how much people were praising Netanyahu, over how effective he was being at the 12-day war. And I think that's the reason why he entered the war and he bombed Fordo, because everybody was being so impressed about how amazing Israel was at removing all the IRGC commanders within a few hours. And he, like, Fox News was, he was watching Fox News and he was getting so much praise, and Trump didn't like that. And now Trump is watching himself coming to Israel like a hero's welcome in a country where the prime minister is being booed and he's being cheered on. And like, he's coming to Israel, to his Netanyahu's home, showing to Netanyahu that here in your country, in the country that you're prime minister, I am more popular than you. This is what's happening.
Trump will fly on to Egypt now to join talks about the rest of his peace plan, the bulk of which has still not been agreed, including, crucially, who will run Gaza after Hamas. Some hostage remains have now been returned from Gaza to the families. For them, a bittersweet day, bringing only closure on their way to give them a dignified burial. For the hostages, basking in the joy of being free and reunited with their loved ones, a long road of recovery begins. This is certainly the end of a chapter for both Palestinians and Israelis, but what happens next depends on whether Trump's attention extends beyond the showy, made-for-TV moments to the hard detail and graft of how these two peoples get back on the road to a lasting two-state solution. Well, joining us now is Gideon Levy, a columnist for the liberal Israeli newspaper Haaretz. Gideon, thank you for speaking to...
Oh my, fuck you. For Haaretz. By the way, Haaretz has blood on their hand. I'm not going to bother with their analysis. I just wanted to see the coverage. Haaretz has Iranian blood on their hand because the article that they just wrote, accusing Israel of creating fake support for Prince Reza Pahlavi. Now the Islamic Republic, in the national TV of the Islamic Republic, they're showing that report from Haaretz and using that as a way to try to justify some imprisonment and executions of people for being spies of Israel. And they just, again, maybe let me know if you want me to do a show on that, but because Haaretz is basically getting Iranians inside Iran in trouble. That's another show that I might have to do. I don't know if you want me to do that. It's absolutely disgusting. Guys, is Channel 4 News like a leftist channel? Yeah, right? Yeah, I think, which one was leftist? This was, yeah, because they were kind of both citing it, like between the terrorists and the hostages. Yeah.
137 days in captivity. The last living Israeli hostages have been released by Hamas in the biggest step yet towards a lasting peace. Crowds erupted in Tel Aviv as the hostages were freed and started the journey home. These are the first pictures of the young men back in Israel. They're now receiving medical checks and are being reunited with their families. Nearly 2,000 Palestinian prisoners and detainees are also starting to be released in exchange. We begin our coverage tonight with Matthew Doran in Tel Aviv.
Jubilation in Tel Aviv's Hostage Square. as news broke that the remaining living hostages were headed back to Israel. Among them, Omri Miran. The 48-year-old's family overjoyed at a long-awaited reunion. A familiar sight unfolding as other families caught the first glimpses of their loved ones. The mother of Matan Zangalka speaking to her son on a video call as she made her way towards him. The war has ended, she says. You're coming home. Israelis have been waiting 2 years for this moment, watching it unfold in real time. In public spaces and living rooms across the country. The US president touching down in Tel Aviv around the same time that the hostages were released. Donald Trump given the red carpet treatment after telling reporters on the flight over that he's confident the ceasefire will hold.
The war is over. The war is over, okay? You understand that?
Are you sure about that? Guys, is the war over? Is the war over in the same way that the war between Ukraine and Russia was over? Like this is a ceasefire agreement that should have been a terms of surrender, but it's a ceasefire agreement that is very shaky, very shaky. There's three things that this could have been: peace agreement, ceasefire agreement, terms of surrender. This should have been terms of surrender. Unfortunately, it's only a ceasefire agreement, but it's definitely not a peace agreement. It's a very, very, very shaky ceasefire agreement. I mean, guys, Hamas has not accepted the terms of the deal, and Trump is acting like it's all over. This is like, I don't know where he's getting this from. He told Hamas that you have 72 hours or else all hell will be rained upon you. 72 hours pass, and Hamas is still insisting that we will keep our weapons and we will still be part of the government in Gaza and with zero consequences. I don't know, like, is Israel going to be expected to pretend that, like, after we come to the conclusion that Hamas is not going to give up its weapons, is Trump going to expect Netanyahu to pretend that Hamas is abiding by their side? Like, is that going to be the pressure? Like, if Netanyahu goes to Trump and says, like, Mr. Trump, they haven't disarmed. Because, guys, I don't know if you've known, ever since Israel has pulled out of Gaza, Hamas is going around with their guns, shooting their opposition. I can't show you those videos because it's on YouTube. This is YouTube. But they are basically trying to make sure that they have a very tight grip over Gaza. So I don't see them abide. I don't see them, phase one. And guys, imagine this. You got phase one, which is you got the hostages. You're not going to get phase two if things go the same way. But if you get to phase two and Hamas violates the terms of the agreement, well, there's no more hostages to stop you from going in and fucking them up completely this time. They have no more leverage over you. So what the only thing, guys, I was right. Remember, during the 12-day war, I told you guys that this is over for the Islamic Republic, but it's not over because Trump is probably going to stop Israel from finishing the job. I was correct. It happened exactly as I said. I was actually surprised. I wasn't actually surprised, but it was pretty impressive that I predicted it, and it happened exactly like that. Now I'm telling you, I hope this doesn't happen again, because now Hamas doesn't have any leverage, except the only leverage Hamas has is Trump's obsession with being seen as a peacemaker. That's the only leverage Hamas has right now. Hamas doesn't have the hostages as a leverage. Hamas's leverage is that they hope that Daddy Trump is going to hold Netanyahu back when Israel realized that we could actually now go in and annihilate these people. They have nothing over us. The only thing that is going to stop them, Israel, is Trump's insistence on them to hold back. So what do you guys think is going to happen when Hamas refuses to disarm and Netanyahu goes to Trump and says, well, the deal that you put forward, they're not agreeing with it? Is Trump going to be like, okay, Bibi, go ahead? Or is he going to be like, this is my peace agreement. This is my peace agreement. Don't you fuck with it. It's good enough. Take it as it is. If it's the latter, we're opening the door to another October 7th. This is the policy of appeasement. This is the thing that we constantly condemned the Democrats for. This is something that we kept on, we said, who funded October 7th in America? Biden is funded October 7th by releasing a shit ton of money to the Islamic Republic. And, the policy of appeasement. Are we going to look back at another October 7th and then look back at it and say that Trump made that possible? Because let me tell you right now, Trump made it possible for the Islamic Republic to stay in power. Because he himself, like, I'm not making this up. He said this. He said, Khamenei, I saved your life. I stopped Israel from killing you. If Khamenei was dead right now, it would have been the end of the Islamic Republic.
War is over. The war is over. Okay, you understand that?
The moment that the US president stepped off his plane, this crowd wanted to express their appreciation. They believe this deal is because of him, but they've felt abandoned by their own leadership. The returned hostages are undergoing initial medical checks before being taken to hospital. They'll each receive a note from the Israeli Prime Minister. On behalf of the entire people of Israel, welcome back. It reads, we've been waiting for you. We embrace you.
Wait, was there no sound all the time when I was talking about Trump, or just now? Okay, let me say it again. When I was talking about Trump, there was sound, right? So here, let me say this again. Somebody in the chat. Yeah, okay, now it's good. So somebody in the chat saying, I pray the peace lasts forever, right? Okay, but guys, okay, but when I was, just let me know in the chat, when I told you about Trump, everything was okay, right? So somebody in the chat said that I pray that this peace lasts forever. I said that if you want to pray, you need to direct your prayer towards who? You need to direct your prayer towards the IDF. The IDF, because the only entity that could bring long-lasting peace is the only one willing, capable of bringing long-lasting peace is the IDF, by crushing the enemies of peace. That's how you bring long-lasting peace. If you want long-lasting peace, if you want to pray for long-lasting peace, pray to the IDF to kill, eliminate, destroy the enemies of peace. That's the only way. These papers, these negotiations, guys, how many times do we have to go through this? Negotiations with terrorists doesn't get you peace. Is that so hard to understand? Like, we have went through this over and over and over and over again. Eliminating terrorists gets you long-lasting peace. Negotiating with terrorists doesn't get you long-lasting peace. If you want long-lasting peace, support the IDF, support Israel, support Netanyahu. Even if you're an anti-Netanyahu Israeli, right now that doesn't matter. Right now, that doesn't matter. You should support his mission to completely eliminate the bringers of war. That's how you win. That's how you bring peace, by eliminating the cause of war.
The relief being felt in Israel follows desperate scenes in Gaza. Much needed aid is moving into the territory, but there's not yet enough to meet demand.
We aren't coming towards danger just because we want to. We're coming so our children can eat.
We just want to go to our homes, to Gaza City.
Those who've already made it to Gaza City are finding there's little left.
We didn't expect it to be.
Okay. Yeah, there are some parts of Gaza that are destroyed, but let me actually show you guys. You want to see another part of Gaza? Because they keep telling us that all of Gaza is flattened. I'm like, how am I getting videos of parties and celebrations and cafes opening and people dancing and eating from Gaza, and then you're saying there's nothing left in Gaza? They show you some parts of Gaza and they tell you this is all of Gaza has been completely. Like, do you want to see a new cafe? Like, I didn't show you last time. A couple of weeks ago, there was a cafe that opened in Gaza, Cafe Nutella. It was really fancy. It was really nice. But now, just yesterday, I think just a few hours ago, actually, right? We have a new cafe in Gaza. You guys would not believe it. Let me actually show you this cafe. Okay, hold up. This is the cafe. This is a new cafe in Gaza that just opened. Let me know. The music is actually, let me know if you notice something weird about this cafe. The music is going to get me copyright stricken, right? Yeah, I think I'm going to get copyright stricken with this. Look at this cafe. Okay, don't read the white text. Just guess what's wrong with this cafe. This is a new cafe in Gaza that just opened. You see that? Then, yeah. The name. They called it Cafe Nova. Oh, this was open on October 11th. They're soon to open Nova Restaurant. Nova, yeah. So this person is trying to point to that the fact, like, okay, where's the starvation here? But I want to point at the name of the cafe. They're naming it after the Nova Festival. So look at this. Nova Restaurant and Cafe opens in Gaza, a name that represents the murder of 364 innocents and abduction of dozens. They're celebrating the Nova Festival genocide. And then it says, just when you think they've hit the lowest low, remember, Gazans can always go even lower. These are absolute monsters. Absolute monsters.
Have already made it to Gaza City are finding there's little left.
We didn't expect it to be this degree. I mean, not one home in the whole street is standing.
Under this first phase of the plan, Israeli forces still control roughly half of Gaza. The next stages will be discussed at a summit in Egypt, being co-chaired by Donald Trump. There's hope that the possibility of longer-term peace may have just become more achievable. Matthew Doran, ABC News, Tel Aviv.
Let's bring in our correspondent Barbara Miller in Jerusalem. Barbara, Donald Trump is off to that summit in Egypt shortly, but he's been visiting Israel's parliament. How has he been received?
Really a rapturous welcome for Donald.
Yeah, we will do the Donald Trump's reception of him in the Knesset later. I want to focus mostly on. Oh wait, hold on.
Yeah, hey guys, good afternoon.
Sorry, let's go here.
Yeah, we're joined now by Chief Foreign Correspondent Trey Yinks. He's live in Tel Aviv, and of course, he has the latest. Trey.
Yeah, hey guys, good afternoon. It was a joyous celebration here in Hostages Square overnight as hundreds of thousands of Israelis were in this center part of Tel Aviv. They were cheering and celebrating, hoping it will be their final hostage rally. The families of the remaining hostages still in Hamas captivity were joined by President Trump's Middle East envoy, Steve Witkoff, his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, and his daughter, Ivanka Trump. You could see how many people were in the crowd.
Yeah, we did that already yesterday. I just want to do more of about the hostages being released. Here, let's do this one.
Jubilation in Tel Aviv's hostage square as news broke that the remaining living hostages were headed back to Israel. The mother of Matan Zangalka speaking to her son on a video call as she made her way towards him. The war has ended, she says. You're coming home.
Wait, I think we already did this video. Let's look at this one.
At the border in Gaza, you can see there the crowd.
Oh, yeah. So this was the moment I think this was happening.
More now on the breaking news in Israel. We have confirmation from Israel that the first 7 of the 20 remaining living hostages have now been handed over to the Red Cross at the border in Gaza. You can see there the crowds gathering in the square where people have been camping out overnight and for days for the moment that they have been waiting for. The families desperate to be reunited with their loved ones, and that moment is happening now. The first 7 of the remaining living 20 hostages have been handed over. The crowds have been erupting in cheers as the news comes through. The US president is due to touch down in a few hours, and it is quite an emotive scene that we are witnessing right now. You can see at Nasser Hospital in Gaza where the Hamas terrorists are handing over the Israeli hostages in exchange for the release of Palestinian prisoners. There was talk of a hitch at the last moment for this momentous occasion to occur, but it is underway. The first part of this peace plan, finally, the release of the Israeli hostages, and we'll keep that picture on our screen as we continue the coverage.
Why do people keep speaking as if this is the end of the war? Like, what makes them think, like, am I missing something here? Because all the elements that is needed for the war to continue is still there. In fact, it's now there more than before. Because one thing that was a main barrier to continuing this war and finishing the job was the hostages. So I don't know. The only thing I'm seeing changing is in favor of more war so that we could finish the job. Guys, war isn't bad. War that is a war that with the intention to end other wars, like if a war that is eliminating the main causes of war is a just war. So you should actually want the war to continue so that we could finish the job here. But I don't know what people, guys, are you seeing what people are saying that they think like that this is now peace now? That is war is over for until the end of time, apparently, according to Trump in the Middle East. This was it. Trump, do you guys like Trump seriously believes that based on what he just did, there will be no more war, not just between Israel and Hamas, but basically in all of the Middle East? It's just all finished, all gone. I mean, I hope not, because if that's true, then the Iranian people are stuck with the Islamic Republic. So let's go. Actually, let's do a little bit of what happened in the Knesset. Tomorrow, we're going to cover this a little bit more. But let's actually look at the part that he was
They
here.
love Steve, and they respect him, and they somehow can relate to him. I've known him for many years, and I've seen it over and over again.
להוציא את חבר הכנסת, להוציא אותו מהאולם, להוציא אותו מיד, החוצה, 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 להוציא גם את חבר הכנסת כסיף, להוציא את חבר הכנסת כסיף מהאולם, להוציא אותו מיד.
How is somebody that could potentially do that allowed in the Knesset? Like, I hope you guys basically kick him out of and everywhere forever. Like, how is somebody that could be potentially behaving like this allowed in such an important event? Like, now I'm actually worried for the safety of Trump, right? Like, if this is such a wild card, like, who was that guy? Can you guys tell me, Israelis? Somebody in the chat is saying, did he throw a shoe? Yeah, guys, you know what he's referring to, right? Like, okay, if you know, you know. Yeah, imagine if you throw a shoe. Do you think that Trump would be able to dodge that as well as Bush did? Oh, so Amir saying his name is Ofer Kasif. His last name is Kasif. Kasif in Persian means dirty. Oh, so he's an Arabic parliamentary. Okay, so he's a member. Oh, is he? Who is this guy? Is he like? Yeah. Amir saying no way. Yeah, that his name is just. Okay, so he's an Arab. He's a member of the Arab member of the parliament. No, Amir saying Jew. Okay. Oh, radical leftist. Okay, then what the fuck is he doing here? He shouldn't be allowed there. Oh my God, they're calling him, guys, as an Iranian, this sounds very funny to me. He's like, oh, Kasif, like you filth. He's calling him. Kasif just means filth. Like, get that filth, get that Kasif out of there, get that filth out of there. That's what it actually means. Wow, you guys, like everybody on all sides, like they're loving Trump over there, huh? Except I guess that guy. I mean, if he's a leftist, shouldn't he be happy with the fact that they're like, wouldn't they be for the ceasefire? I mean, I don't understand. Like, what the fuck is their problem? They say, like, stop the war. And then when somebody comes and stops the war, they're against them. I don't know what the fuck you guys want.
Sorry for that, Mr. President. Please.
Okay. I did not expect that face. That was like, okay. That's classic. Oh my God. I sometimes I love the guy. Sometimes I don't know what to say, but sometimes he's just awesome. That face. he is cute, isn't he? Like, yeah. Sometimes I just love the man. Sometimes, okay, but like that. Look at his reaction. That was fantastic. That was golden. Look at
Mr.
this.
President. Please.
I can't do it. I should ask. Okay.
That was very efficient.
Okay, that was the best. You guys were mentioning it in the chat. You're like, wow, they actually got rid of the guy very fast. That was a really good. Oh my God, this guy is a comedian. Okay, you know what, Trump? I might actually disagree with you on so many things, but when it comes to comedy, like that was the timing on it. The timing, the delivery, the efficiency of the just one word. That was this is fantastic. Love it. One more time. Okay.
That was very efficient.
Okay, guys, I think he outdid Bush's dodging of the shoe. What do you guys think? I think we have a new record in response here.
So back to Steve. He's
Guys, I haven't watched the full speech at the Knesset yet. Did Trump how often did Trump praise Netanyahu? And did he say anything negative about him? Because some people told me that he said negative things about him.
tell one story because he was so involved. And then we called in Jared. We need that brain on occasion. We got to get Jared in here. We got to get a certain group of people. But Steve started this all by himself. I call him Henry Kissinger, who doesn't leak. Okay? Henry is a big leaker. He leaked. Steve doesn't leak. Steve just wants to get the job done. He wants to do what's right. But I'll give you just a quick story because, as you know, he's working on the war with Russia and Ukraine, a war that would have never happened if I were president. A shame.
Okay.
7,000 young soldiers a week are being killed. More than that this last week. It's a shame. Should have never happened, but it did.
Okay, I mean, I don't agree with him. Putin was like you don't, Mr. Trump. You're really good at comedy, but you don't understand Putin. Putin was always set on trying to bring back the Russian Empire. Like there's nothing that would have convinced him not to do that.
Happen, and we won the race, and I took over this horrible war that's been raging, and I thought it would be easily settled. I thought it was a hell of a lot easier than doing what we just did very successfully with Israel and a lot of other people. But this came first, and we'll get that one. But I set up a meeting for him to meet with President Putin, thinking it would be a 15 or a 20-minute meeting. Steve had no idea about Russia. I had no idea about Putin too much, didn't know too much about politics, wasn't that interested. He was really good at real estate, but he had that quality that I was looking for. And
Then why did you pick him? Guys, like, let me tell you, like, Witkoff, he's right. He doesn't understand politics. You know how I know? Because this man, Witkoff, is also the person responsible for the negotiations with the Islamic Republic over their nuclear stuff, right? And he, like, we Iranians were following the step by step, the daily back and forth between Witkoff and the Islamic Republic. And I could tell you, Witkoff was clueless. Like, he didn't have the most basic understanding of Iran's politics. And we Iranians were very frustrated with him. So
didn't see it around in too many ways. And I set up the meeting with Putin, and I called. I said, is Steve finished yet? That was about a half an hour into the meeting. No, sir, he's not. He's still inside. This is in Moscow. I said, well, how's he doing? I don't know, sir. He's still inside. I called up an hour later. Let me speak to Steve. Sir, he's still with Putin. He's with President Putin. I said, wow, it's a long meeting, 1 hour. I called up an hour later. He was still with Putin. 3 hours later, he was still with Putin. 4 hours later, he started to get the word that he was going to be coming out soon. And in 5 hours, he came out. I said, what the hell were you talking about for 5 hours? And he says, just a lot of interesting things. We're talking about a lot of interesting things, including what he went in there for, but you can't talk about it for 5. You can talk about it for a certain period of time and you know what you're getting. But that's a talent. That's a talent where you can do that. Most people I'd send in, number one, they wouldn't be accepted. Number two, if they were, the meeting would last 5 minutes. And that's what happens with Steve. Everybody loves him. They love him. And this.
Wait, so he's talented because he had a long meeting with Putin? Okay, well, give me the job. I could talk to Putin for 12 hours straight. Heck, I could actually talk to Putin for 24 hours straight. I've done live streams that took 16 hours. Like, I have done 16 hours back-to-back live streams. Okay, so that's what what you need is not how long you could talk to somebody. What you need is knowledge and negotiating skills, not the length of the meeting.
They love him on the other side, and he really is.
Anyways, I'm being picky. We should be celebrating today. Thank you, Trump, for bringing the hostages home. I shouldn't be so picky.
The meeting would last 5 minutes, and that's what happens with Steve. Everybody loves him. They love him on this side. They love him on the other side. And he really is. He's a great.
All right. Okay. There are going to be other. Let's cover the Knesset tomorrow. Let me know if you want me to cover it, because I heard there were some really juicy moments, especially when he's talking about Netanyahu. So let me know in the comment section if we should be covering the Trump's full speech at the Knesset. I think that would be interesting, But what do you guys think in the chat? Let me know in the chat. You don't like Witkoff? Okay. Somebody is saying Trump is boring. Okay, Trump is the last. Okay, you could call Trump so many things, and you might be right, but calling him boring, the last thing that Trump is boring. Oh, please cover it. Okay. Yeah. What? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, I like to listen to you guys to see what you're. Yeah, Trump boring. Yeah, exactly. He's not boring. You saw his one-liners here. That was fantastic. Okay, sounds good. So, guys, the reason I'm gonna go now because the reason I'm gonna go now is because I have a debate with a Muslim on my Persian channel. So we're gonna be debating as an atheist. I'm gonna be talking about marriage, and he's gonna be talking about marriage. The debate is supposed to be marriage from an Islamic perspective, and they want me to respond to them and say why they're going to try to explain why marriage is superior from an Islamic perspective, and then I have to respond why marriage is superior from an atheistic perspective, and I'm going to have to explain to them there is no atheistic perspective on marriage. So I have to actually keep saying that. They're going to be like, okay, this is why we think Islamic marriage is superior. Now you as an atheist, tell us why atheistic marriage is superior. And I'm gonna have to tell them what the fuck is an atheistic marriage. Like, you mean like, what is that? We don't. Okay, so wish me luck on my debate. I don't know. I think people don't understand that atheism doesn't actually it doesn't hold any positive views on any topic, including marriage. It's just a lack of belief in God. It's not lack of belief in God plus this opinion on marriage, this opinion on that, this opinion on that. So it's just a lack of belief in God. My views about marriage doesn't come from my atheism. It comes from other places. So I have to actually keep. I think that's going to be the entire debate. Me telling them that there is no such thing as an atheist perspective on marriage. Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna go and get ready for that live stream. Wish me luck. I mean, I don't need luck, guys. I'm debating a Muslim. Okay. I don't need luck. All right. So, but yeah, thank you. Make sure you like the stream. Make sure you leave a comment after the show is over. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell notification. And make sure you recommend this channel to your friends and to your enemies. I would very much appreciate that. Well, yeah. Thank you, Amir. Always promoting the channel. You're amazing. Thank you. Yeah, Neil Benison, you'll be fine. I'm pretty sure I'll be fine. Guys, they're gonna talk about Islamic marriage. You know what I have to say? Like Aisha, and then he'll be like, yeah. Muhammad had sex with a 9-year-old, and then he's gonna talk like Muhammad married a 6-year-old and had sex with her when she was 9. What else do I need to say? Like, I don't need to. You don't need to know about my position of marriage. All I need to talk about is all I need to say is your position on marriage. That's all I need to keep repeating. There's nothing else I need to do. Okay. All right. Okay. So, yeah, that's why this is going to be easy. Okay, guys, I'm gonna head out. Thank you, guys, and I'm Israel Chai, Javid Shah.